Let me see if I can get this on my tripod, the way my tripod was dead. But yeah, so I'm sewing this corset. I'm only gonna be here for like 15-20 minutes, but sewing this corset top. Ignore my messy background of fabrics and nonsense, but sewing this corset top and listening to, let me see, listening to Jessie Wu talk about Diddy's latest cases. But I just wanted to show how I am sewing this.
I think
turning back on this
Diddy tried
Jessie
to
Wu thing.
Get his bail given to him again.
Hold on. I'm gonna I'm sewing on the back of sewing the corset, sewing the beading fabric onto the corset right here. So this is the part that I'm on, sewing the corset back around the loop. So I'm just connecting the beading fabric to the corset. So that's all I'm doing right now. But I'm gonna turn back on this Diddy case to see what latest nonsense he's into while I'm sewing. Let's see.
Right, but I think this judge is like, child, listen, we moving on to the trial. You're gonna be here to your trial, and that's in May of 2025. Apparently, like, we haven't really heard him get a denial for the bail, but we haven't heard an approval either. So I don't know what that's about. But it looks like this judge is like, child, baby, we can't let you out. Also, the government came forward and was like, no, absolutely not. Like, no, he needs to stay behind bars, and he should, as he should. I don't know why this particular that last lawsuit had me think about an incident that I went through with a friend. So 2 weeks ago, my last podcast, I had Marky Markland, which y'all loved, child, so I will have him back. But the one before that, I gave like a friend story time about how I knew my friend hated me. But this lawsuit had me think about another time or another incident that I had with a friend. So this was, I believe, 2021, right? And before I even go into the story time, just want to make it clear that I believe everything. Like, I believe every last lawsuit that we're seeing come forward. I hate when I see people in my community, when this type of stuff happens, their first thing is, but where's Harvey Weinstein? Where's all the white people? Y'all, why they not jailing the white people? Y'all clearly are not paying attention. Where they documentaries, baby?
Y'all, she's talking about Diddy, just FYI.
I've seen numerous documentaries this year when it comes to white powerful men. The last recent years, there's been an uptick in that. Like, white Hollywood is definitely having a reckoning as well. And you never hear white people, but what about the black? You never hear that. You never hear that. There are just certain crimes when it's time to put your ass in jail, baby, you going to jail. Jail. You're going to jail. Like, white people would throw their people in jail so damn fast. I don't give a fuck how many millions, billions we made together last week. Toby, you're going to jail. You're going to jail tomorrow. Clank, clank. Lock his ass up. Bye. That's the difference. Like, y'all be trying to use it. How y'all come off is we should be able to sexually violate our black women and children just like white people do their it's not given. It's not given, okay?
So I sewed this
all right
here.
Please
Y'all can't see
please,
Jessie talking
please,
about Diddy back here, but
please
my iPad is over here.
Y'all be sounding very, very rapey. Very rapey, okay? first episode, I was like, listen, I think we should have a trailer. And I came up with the trailer and gave it to the videographer. He liked it. I even recorded.
All right, so now I'm putting the darts around the bust.
Any of y'all who watched Brownies? Thank you for being my bitch. I sang that from the heart. But anyway, so before we go and we shoot the trailer, right? One of the girls wanted to really go out the night before, and I was like, I don't think it's a good idea. Like, we have
I'm
to
adding
shoot
darts
at 8.
around
like,
the bust.
We have to be up by 8 and shoot by. No, actually, the videographer, he had a full day set for us, so it started at 8. So we were gonna film the trailer in different locations, and then go film the first episode. So we had to start at 8. I was like, I know how y'all be doing, like, please, like, I don't think it's a good idea. And they were like, no, please, like, let's just go out. And I was like, fuck, fine. So I go because, like, I want to be the friend that's like, all right, let's get out of here, right? So one of the girls, she had a boyfriend at the time, Nigerian, okay? And one thing about Nigerians, if they not outside, they friends be outside. This is Atlanta. Like, these Africans, they run these streets, okay? So we were at like a very mixy spot, and her man wasn't there, but she was like all up in this one guy's face, like all up in his face.
So
like,
I'm trying to pin the darts around the bust of the corset.
Girl,
this part I'm actually going to hand, so
it's gonna be a wrap for you, girl. You
I might need to get a
like that, okay? So anyway, I'm trying to get her the fuck out the damn club. The other girl, she was like, I don't give a fuck. She does this shit all the time.
I'm trying to.
She was like,
I might need to get a needle.
And was like very kind of like drunk. I'm like, okay, is she drunk? I hadn't seen her really drink much, but it was pretty drunk.
All right, I'm gonna grab
so
a needle.
The girl was like, I don't give a fuck.
And I'm gonna put Jessie Will right here.
Like, she basically was like, she does this shit for attention. Like, I don't care. And I'm like, girl, let's get her out of here. She didn't give a fuck. She wasn't even trying to help.
Wow,
so
I get my needle.
Hey, girl, let's get out of here. It's getting late. And I guess the guy that she was with got so pissed because here I am, like, hating on, like, what they got going on. So he's like, nah, she coming home with me. Mind you, how she coming home with you, sir? We drove here together. She drove, and I came with her. So
okay.
I'm like, yeah, no.
So I got my needle.
And here she go, throwing me her car keys.
And now I'm gonna switch the thread to green.
I'm like, oh, wait a minute now. Where you going? So I'm trying to stop her from getting into this guy's car. Now we're outside the club. I'm trying to stop her from getting into this guy's car. I don't really know this guy like that. So I'm kind of worried. But she's like, oh, it's fine. She's like, just follow us. Mind you, again,
maybe I'll put
don't care.
This down a little bit so y'all can see me.
I've been down this road before with this bitch. I'm not doing it tonight. So I get in the car, I start following. I'm new to Atlanta. I'm like 1 year in.
And the sketch over here is what I'm making.
I have no sense of direction. If my GPS ain't on, baby, I don't know where I'm going. I don't know where I'm at. I don't know where I'm going. Okay? So anyway, I'm trying to follow. I lose them. But I remember her saying something about Atlantic, because then I lose them in the street. But I call her, and when I call her, she's like, I'm in Atlantic. So I heard Atlantic. So I remember there was this apartment building that I almost moved into when I first got to Atlanta. It was called the Atlantic House or something like that. It's on Peachtree. So by then, it's like 2 o'clock in the morning. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm looking. I'm trying to see where they went. Don't see where they went. Calling her. She in the Atlantic. So I pull up to the Atlantic House. And I keep calling her, hey, I'm at the Atlantic House. Hey, I'm at the Atlantic House. Hey, I'm at the Atlantic House. I'm calling her, leaving her a message, texting her, hey, I'm at the Atlantic House. And she's not answering. And finally, like, I'm getting into my car probably like 30 minutes after being there. Like, I go into the apartment building. I say, hey, I'm looking for a girl who looks like this. Like, I give him the description. I showed him a picture. The guy at the front desk, he hadn't seen anybody like that. So I'm worried. I'm like, damn, should I call the police? Like, I don't know what to do. So I get in my car, and it's like 1:30, maybe 1:40ish. I don't know. And so I get in my car. She calls me, and she's frantic. She's frantic. He tried to arm me. 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 I'm like, where are you? Where are you? Like, she's screaming and crying on the phone. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? I'm at the Atlantic. I'm at the Atlantic. I said, I'm at the Atlantic house. She's like, no, the Atlantic, the Atlantic. So I look up the Atlantic. She hangs up, and the Atlantic is like this other like nice building with apartments, and I think that's like closer to Atlantic Station. So I drive there. Like, I'm just hurrying up, but like, I'm shaking because the way this girl called me, screaming and crying, I'm like, oh my God, like, I don't know what I'm about to walk into. I hope she's okay. Like, oh my God, like, you know, I'm frantic, and I've spoken to you guys about being a survivor of this before. So, you know, for me, it just was, it was a lot. So I get to the Atlantic, and before I could even come out, she busts through the doors, like, and she's running out of the building towards me.
All right,
outside.
guys, I'm just hand sewing this dart by the bust right here. Again, I'm sewing the corset
she just looks so
part
disheveled.
of this dress. I'm doing the bust area here. So.
And like, I'm crying now. I'm like, do you want to call the police? Let's call the police. She's like, no, I don't want to call. I'm like, are you sure we should call the police? I'm like, what happened? And she was like, he tried to force himself on her. She kept saying she didn't want to. He didn't want to listen. I believe.
And this is Jessie Woo. This is the Jessie Woo podcast. Just by the way.
Like, he wouldn't let her out
Oh, I think it says somebody.
And
somebody liked it.
After a while of her like trying to get out, he finally just let her out. I really just can't remember exactly how she got out of the apartment. It just was so much, and I was like, let's call the police. She didn't want to call the police. Maybe I should have called the police anyway. I don't know, but by then it was like 3:00 in the morning, and I was like, you know what? Do you know who he is? Yes. I was like, okay, great. Like, she had all her information. We knew where he lived. I was like, let's just, you know, let's get you home. Let's get you rested, and we'll revisit this in the morning. So the next morning comes. Both of the girls are super late, but we know we shoot our trailer anyway. It comes out really good. And then because of what happened to her the night before, I'm like, you know, let's take a longer break. Let's take a longer break in between.
That is sewn on there. I'm just sewing the top beading into the top of the corset. If you see this little space right here, I'm sewing the beading back on here, hand sewing that.
Are you sure? Like, you said that this, like, girl, I saw the way you were, like, I saw you last night. Like, you were not okay. She's like, I'm sure. I don't want to call the police. I'm like, okay, so we shoot the trailer. We have a long break in between. Then we go to Rocksteady and...
Sorry, I'm just pinning the beading down here into place so that doesn't move when I sew the top.
We shoot our first episode. First episode goes great. Like, it was such a good episode. Like, sometimes I really wish, like, I could go back in time and I would have found, like, 2 other girls to do that with, because it was such a good idea, and like, everything just came out really, really well. But I just didn't pick the right girls to do that with. But anyway, so the episode comes out great. So as we're finishing up, like, for the episode, we even got to like eat all the Rocksteady food. This is when Rocksteady like was first becoming Rocksteady. Joe, the owner, came out and he spoke to us, and the chef Lucky, who, by the way, he's not at Rocksteady anymore, but he is at Oretha's or Orthea's. It's a very, very good restaurant here in Atlanta. Like, just know I love y'all because I do not be sharing that restaurant with nobody. That is like me and Mr. Easter's favorite restaurant to go to. But anyway, food was great. That's when Rocksteady had more Haitian food. Like, now it's just kind of like, I don't know what the hell happened. But Chef Lucky, who's not even Haitian, but he's from Chicago, which was founded by a Haitian. How you doing? He used to whip up that Haitian food like it was nobody's business. That jonjon, that zillion jonjon, amazing. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. But it was just such a good episode. We even talked to Chef Lucky, and he talked to us about the food, everything. It was great. Like, it was amazing.
And how are the numbers looking? We're landing at a strong 70 SPF.
Thanks to JetBlue's low fares, Kayla's in vacation mode already.
So we shoot this amazing first episode, and then Joe, the owner, was like, hey, we have a lounge upstairs. Why don't you guys go upstairs? Drinks on me, appetizers on me. There's music, there's everything. Like, everything's on me. Cool. So now we're upstairs. Again, this is like before Rocksteady became what it is now. Like, it's big now, but like, this was a great. So we're up there, and Sister Girl tells me, hey, is it cool if I invite anybody to come like eat with us? I'm like, yeah, I guess like there's enough food for, they're gonna be sending us a whole bunch of food, so yeah. I don't remember if I invited anybody or girl number 3 invited anybody, but Sister Girl invited somebody. So as the drinks start coming,
Sorry, I'm just double stitching this dart that I put at the side of the boob, just because I want that to be super secure since it's hand stitches. So I'm double stitching that.
And food start coming in. I look up. Guess who Sister Girl invited to come eat with us? Take a wild guess. Guess who Sister Girl invited to come eat with us? Oh, you guessed it. You guessed it. You guessed it. I can see y'all in the comments now. I can see y'all in the car rides now, or some of y'all are at work listening to this. Yeah. She invited Homeboy from the Atlantic. She invited Homeboy from the Atlantic. The same man I went to go snatch her up from. She invited him. Just look at him coming in. They hugged up, they kissing. And I am triggered because literally less than 24 hours before this, you were screaming and crying, saying that this man tried to bleepity bleep you. Had me driving up and down Atlanta looking for you.
And now I'm just sewing the inside.
24 hours later, you invite him. Où invite? Où invite? Kounya c'est Diri Jonjon. C'est what? It's babankou shots. It's kissy kissy. It's huggy huggy. C'est Mesu Buddha. I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. I was so triggered by that. Because again, like, I'm a survivor of this. But not only that, I was like, do I ask this girl if she lied to me? Like, did this man really try to bleepity bleep her last night? Like, what do I make of this? what do I make of this? Because there's no way that this man tried to bleepity bleep you less than 24 hours later, and then now we're in the club, now it's we sharing, y'all sharing hookahs. It doesn't make sense, right? And I don't know, I was reading that lawsuit, but also just I've read a lot of the Diddy lawsuits, and I've seen a lot of the commentary online, and people just saying, well, you know, he was just being nasty. Like, he's just nasty. You know what I mean? And of course that's just not the case. This is beyond just being nasty. But a lot of the folks
Knotting the
feel
thread.
like, well, these people are just coming out and saying this, or what about the people who returned? Like,
How am I doing
you know,
on
say Cassie,
time?
you know what I
Let me
mean?
see.
And it
Oh,
had me think
20
about
minutes.
this incident with Sister Girl, because it's like, does her inviting this man to come share hookahs
Okay. So, as you see, I finished this one side. I connected the beading fabric to the top of the corset here. I hand sewed this dart, and I also sewed the side seams. So I just kind of wanted to show you guys that. Again, the sketch back here is what we were working on. But if you kind of can see, the top of this corset is coming out gorgeous. Now I have to hand sew this side and hand sew the beading onto the top of here. There's also a beaded sleeve that I'm going to show on my YouTube when I do the full making of this dress video. But yep, just wanted to share that part. All right, bye.